Hello traders, welcome back to this week's Forex forecast with one man. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please subscribe, turn on post notification, follow, share. So this week we are looking at the pound crosses: GBPAUD, GBPNZD, GBPCAD, GBPJPY, and GBP Swiss francs and Euro GBP. So what we do over here is very simple. We look at just two concepts, and those concepts are we look at what quote report, and we coupled that with our pure price action. So if you don't know what quote report is, I've done a separate video explaining how to use quote report and inculcate the data into your own strategy or approach. Let's dive right straight into the chart without wasting much time. So the first on the list is GBPAUD, the pound versus the Australian dollar. Before we do anything, we'll first have to go to the quote report and see what the institutions are doing on the GBPAUD pair. So, briefly, on the pound, which is the British pound, we have a net position of negative 33,605. And then on the Australian dollar, we have a negative position, net position of 79,231, which means on the flip side, what this data simply means is the pound is stronger than the AUD. Or in another way, since they are both negative, then we can say the British pound is neutral to bullish. So at the net position, quickly, we could see that the past week, there are about 74,849 long positions on the pound, and then there are 108,454 short positions on the same pound. And the institutions in the past week, they've closed 1,200 long of their positions, and they've also closed 748 of their short positions, which means the pound itself is a little bit neutral comparing to the Australian dollar, where the institutions on the long side, there are 32,200 long positions in the market, and then on the short side, there are 101,431 short positions in the market. But in the past week, they've added 2,523 to their pre-existing longs, and then they've closed only 929 of their short position, which goes to say that institutions are beginning to shift to the long side in the AUD than the short side. But comparing GBPAUD and AUD, GBP, the pound, and the Australian dollar itself, we could see that on the long side, the pound is still stronger than the Australian dollar. Hence, if we want to trade GBPAUD, we should be looking for long opportunities. Like I said, I've done a separate video explaining how to do or how to interpret the data from quote report and inculcate that into your technical analysis. So when we dive into GBPAUD, we could see on the technical side, on the monthly, since 2022, we've been having a very nice, perfect uptrend, creating series of higher high, higher low, 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 higher high. Now we are at higher low, and definitely we should be seeing the new higher high. So on the technical side, everything is bullish, and on the quote data, it also says the pound is stronger than the Australian dollar in a long term, but in a short term, the Australian dollar, due to the adding of long positions, is stronger than the pound. Hence, short term, we should be seeing selling opportunities, but long term, we should be seeing buying opportunities. So we want to swing trade, so we are going to look at the long term, which is what the buying opportunity. So when we quickly dive into GBPAUD, all we could say on the technical side is after this bullish move, this level becomes the highest point the price has tapped before we are seeing a retracement. So on the weekly, taking it to the weekly, without any difficulties, all we could see is a perfect uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and we have come for a higher low, and definitely after a higher low, we should see a new higher high. Textbook uptrend, right? So on the easier side, we could see this higher high, higher low broken, retested. So we are having a retest of this level, which means on per textbook uptrend, from here we should see a buying pressure coming to push the market to the upside. Hence, what do? We go to the daily, and then on the daily, all we could see is price has been selling for the past couple of days, and this sell pressure has managed to push the market down to a key level of what? A retest or structural support. So all we need to do on GBPAUD is to look for a confirmation on our 4-hour time frame within this range to buy. Now, all we could see is the 4-hour creating a perfect downtrend, which created low, high, and currently we are on the weekly, daily structural support zone, which is going to push the market to the upside. Why? Because this level is a weekly structural break retest zone. A perfect uptrend says a higher high, a higher low, higher high. We should have a retest of this high, and we should have what? A continuation, which is a typical example of what we are seeing on GBPAUD. So how are we going to find an entry? All we have to do is to use a simple confirmation candle, which is a bullish confirmation candle, to enter the trade. Another way we can find an entry is by the use of this perfect trend line, which means, as we already know, over here trading is more reactive than per trading is more reactive, trading is more reacting than predicting. The data says we should be looking for buying opportunity, and the technical says we should be looking for a buying opportunities because price is at a buying zone. So how then are we going to get into a buying chance, or how are we going to take this trade? There are two ways. It's either we wait Looking at the 4-hour, there is what this perfect level where we had price, high, low, high, break, retest, and we had a reaction. So it means that next week, if the market still want to hold below this trend line, we can easily see a one more leg before a further buy. So over here, all we need to do is to pay attention to how a candlestick confirmation or candles are going to be formed over here. Then we take or we react. So if you want to see how I am going to be entering this trade, all you have to do is follow, subscribe, and even join my live every day as I do live trades every single day. So GBPAUD has one of the best pairs, one of the best pairs you should be looking to trade next week. Why? Because it has a lot of buying opportunity or a lot of buying chances where after confirmation you can easily swing this trade and make almost 700 pips with literally 100 pips stop loss. So this can give you a swing trade of 1:7 after we get a confirmation from this zone. Why are we targeting that area as our final TP? This is because over here has a key reaction zone where the price has been finding difficult to break for so many months now. So when price gets here, it will be a very good area to take profits on GBPAUD. So this is the setup. Let's quickly move to the next pair, which is GBPCAD. On GBPCAD, all we could see is the same concept of a perfect uptrend. So all we need to do is the same thing. Go to the coach report and look at what the institutions are doing. And on the institution side, we could see the pound is stronger than the Australian dollar. Hence, we should look for buying opportunities. On the flip side, which is on the short side, where we are having the net change of negative 465 and a net change of plus 59, tells me that temporarily we can be seeing a range, but overall it is a bullish trend. And when we come to the GBPAUD, we could see the same concept where we've been buying for a very long time. Since the trend is our friend, we follow the trend and we make profit. On GBPAUD, just by looking at the monthly, we could see the overall target for this pair is almost 2.1, which means GBPAUD still has almost 2,000 pips to move in the bullish trend. But how are we going to find a trading opportunity? Is to go to the weekly time frame. And on the weekly time frame, all we could see or all we could easily identify is price having this level of resistance or um, a sell zone where price has not even tapped yet. So, which means for price to get to the overall target, we need to see the price trading above this zone only before we can say that price is going to head all over to 2.1. But how do we find an entry on this same or in this same move, all we have to do is on the daily, we could see that price is having a very strong daily resistance right here where we tapped, we dropped, tapped, we dropped, tap, we dropped, and we are having another bullish move. But what we can also see is that after each drop creates new highs. That is one way to identify that what a level that has been giving more sales pressure is not that strong, because if this level was strong, after the second time we should have a sell that breaks this low before a reversal, and then we should have the third one breaking this low. So this indicates that this sell area now is not strong, and at any moment in time we are going to break above this level and then start heading towards this immediate level, which is almost 500 pips. So on GBP CAD, all we have to do on the 4-hour is to wait for the break of this level. And once we had a perfect break of this level, we should have a break, retest, then we continue. So on GBPAUD, we are looking for buying opportunities above this zone with targets all the way to the upside and stop loss almost 130 pips of stop loss. And as you already know, trading is more reactive than predictive. So with the quote report which says I should buy, all we need to do is to wait for price to show us a clear evidence of break, retest, then we jump into it to the upside. The next on the list is GBPJPY. So what are we doing on GBPJPY? Same concept of buying opportunities. How do we find a buying opportunity in a perfect uptrend? All we have to do is go to the weekly, and on the weekly, all we could see without wasting much time is we have this high, and for some weeks now, the price has been holding beautifully at 200, and this low over here, which means that now, since we're in a bullish trend, we have a higher chances of price pushing to 208. So on the daily, we move to the daily, and all we can see on the daily is this level that price has been struggling to break since 2014. So once we successfully break this level, the next target is a run all the way to 208, which is almost 800 pips swing trade. But then how do we get into the trade? Is to go to the 4-hour, and on the 4-hour, what we could see here is a very beautiful continuation chart pattern called the ascending triangle, which means that on the 4-hour, we could see a very strong or a very nice resistance coupled with series of new highs. So this is a typical textbook continuation chart pattern which says that what after a break of this level, then price should move to the upside. So an ascending perfect textbook chart pattern, which is a continuation bullish confirmation. So a perfect close 4-hour close above is an indication to easily open a buy, and the target is here, stop loss below this level, which also gives 1:4 or 1:4.4, with a 170 to almost 160 pips stop loss. 160 pips, so stop loss around 198.8, 198.8, and target at 208, which is a 760 pips target. So these are some of the top setups for me on the GBPAUD, GBPCAD, and GBPJPY in the coming weeks as a swing trade. So if you like how I analyze my chart, if you like how I break the chart down, all you have to do is give me a follow. Go follow, subscribe, and watch my videos, and possibly join my live trades every day on my YouTube page as I go live and trade live and take some of these trades live after I get a confirmation that I want to see. So thank you for watching this video, and see you on live next week. Bye bye.